This is a bit of a postscript, really, a PS to all the other video, but it really needs to go at the front now, I think. Because I've just finished listening to the rest of your video in reply to this science forums thing, and I'm a bit puzzled about the latter half of the conversation that was going on between you and some other guys. Mainly because when they were talking about sine waves adding up, and you seem to be defending the sine waves adding up or whatever, I thought, well, what sine waves got to do with the thing? Because I'm at, unless you were talking about the 1 kilohertz, sorry, the test tone carried on the carrier signal, that being a sine wave. But I was expecting you to start explaining how, in your theory, being a particle theory, I'm not sure if I'm using the correct terminology for your, there's to your liking, but I thought you were going to explain how, in your theory, that you'd have particles arriving at a set distance apart, and when they arrive from two separate sources, where they arrive to phase, that distance between them then is halved, and therefore the frequency is doubled. That's what I thought you were going to explain to them, but you didn't seem to go down that avenue. Unless I missed the point, or unless maybe it's me, but I'm hoping I've not got the wrong end of the stick. I thought that was I thought that was the intention of your theory, and I'm pretty sure that is. That you must have been referring perhaps to the audio signal transmitted on top of it. Let me pause for a minute while I gather my thoughts. Oh, sorry, I'm a bit out of breath because it's 12:30 now, January the 1st, and all the racket from next door you probably can't hear now, but all having a bit of a shindig. Poor old anxiety, all that crap, Yeah, I know I should be getting to bed really because I'm knackered. I'm sorry with the rest of this video. I'm not sure what format the rest of this video is going to arrive in, because I've tried piecing it all together, joining several shorter videos together, and it adds up to 2 hours nearly. But when I actually looked at it, in the conversion process, it had made some of the videos really small, and I don't know why. So I might just scrap that and upload the videos individually, but that might be a pain in the ass, because the whole point of the conversion process was to reduce, the file sizes, from 11 gigabytes to something crackers. This computer I'm working on now is a bag of shit. It just doesn't like uploading stuff to YouTube, so I have to switch computers, and while that's uploading, I can't do anything else, But anyway, as you will see when if you find time to fight your way through all the videos, I'm just going to add, I'm going to tag onto this, that you will find, you'll see that I'm explaining how I can now, or should be able to now, do the experiment that you want without that problem we had before of the frequency limitation. Of the experiment being frequency dependent, because so long as the EIP frequency counter power meters you can see behind me, so long as you are happy that me doing the experiment this time, same as before, transmitting through two horn antennas, but this time instead of 10.6 gig, transmitting like 7.3 gig, because I made a new transmitter, not completely put it together yet, it's kind of half built, tested and all that on the EIP meters, works out fine. And I can also do the power reading. So somebody on that forum was saying, can we have, if we can have an accurate voltage readout? Well, you don't normally measure in voltage, do you? You measure the power in dBm, decibel milliwatts, really. So happy to provide it in those terms, yeah. Decibel milliwatts. I've got various other meters. I don't know if they're visible if I lift the camera up a tad. On top shelf next to the parrot. Those are Those are great meters, but you know, not quite as accurate, you know, because they're needle meters, but from the 1960s, fantastic little meters actually, but you can use them. And again, there's no real need for me to put that signal on. The only reason I was putting the signal on, the audio signal before, was just to sort of repeat what Walter Lewin was doing, just to keep it, you know, nice and simple initially. But as it happens, the EIP frequency counter meters, they don't like receiving a signal when it's modulated anyway. So it's best when I switch off the modulation and just do it, you know, without. Then the EIP meters are just reading the carrier wave. Keep getting interference. I think it's next door. They've got some Christmas lights on, so yeah, no, that can't be it. Anyway, pause for thought. Yeah, so I just need to rejig these, you know, set up upstairs again. See, it's freezing cold now, and it took me winter, obviously. So I tend to do everything in this room, and this room, it's absolutely chock-a-block. You know, I brought the experiments down here to do some, you know, that what looks like just my mic's down up there. That's where I was doing me rotating the microwave transmitter or receiver horn around in an arc to do a different experiment using the microwave horns. And so that's been occupying the room for the last 3 or 4 months. I just have to keep stepping around it. Oh, I don't know, just such a shite. Everywhere I go, just can't move for, yeah, stuff. That's important to me anyway. Anyway, so I could do getting back upstairs because I never got around to finishing. Tons of experiments that were planned for that particular space. Actually, the main reason I brought everything down here was because there was one particular microwave experience. There's one particular microwave experiment I was doing up there that I was getting such unusual results that didn't seem like they didn't seem right. I thought, well, I better bring it down here in case I'm getting reflections off rebar, you know, reinforcement bar in concrete and whatever. I forget, not everybody knows what rebar is. But, yeah, because I was getting an interference pattern in a situation where I shouldn't. You know, where these off a single slit, 10 gigahertz, 10mm gap, you know, 15mm. You know, how can you have path length difference? That was my thinking. Yeah, how can you have even one path length difference? Half path length difference with 10mm gap slit. You know, with the 10 gigahertz. What's it? Anyway, did a lot of work on that, and anyway, I'll save that for another day. I must admit, I'm quite shocked, really, if I'm honest, with all these people who keep, you know, having a go at you. When none of them seem to do anything. Yeah, I mean, all this equipment behind me, it's not that frigging deal. I'm piss poor. You know what I mean? I'm tempted to show you my boots, to show you how fucking poor I am. Well, fuck it, I will. Why not? Just bought some new ones, but I mean, that's how poor I am. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Because I do care about this stuff. So I don't mind walking around in boots like that, and I'd rather spend my money on this kind of stuff. But I do get the impression that the sort of people who are giving you all their advice, you know, all these science forums and such like, you know, all they seem to do is regurgitate what they've read or what they were taught, and it's like they don't have the nous to sort of just think, well, let's do this experiment at home and just see if it all pans out there. I mean, quite often it obviously is going to pan out, but you would think, wouldn't you, if they were genuinely interested in this stuff, that they would want to do it at home anyway, just as a hobby. Because if you don't want to do it at home, if you want to leave it behind after you've been to uni and you've done it in one class and you've moved, but if you don't really want to come home and do it again and be fascinated by it and think about it, and another thing. Again, when these people are criticising you, what a lot of them seem to be forgetting is that the top one of the top geezers, Professor Jim Al-Khalili, the guy who's always standing up at the Royal Institution, on the BBC, always representing quantum physics. Even he, in his private blog, if anybody actually bothers to go and look at it, even he says he as much as admits he doesn't frigging believe any of this garbage about Copenhagen interpretation and all that. He doesn't say it in those specific terms. He's a lot more diplomatic in his language, because let's be honest, he's got a career to look after, hasn't he? You're not going to say, like, I'm teaching a pile of shit. What you're going to say is, we should continue looking for a better answer, and that's what he actually does say. He says, the last thing we should be doing is shutting up and calculating. We should be looking for the objective reality behind the mathematics, which undoubtedly does work. I think of paraphrasing fairly accurately there, but it's worth going and have a look yourself, or yourselves, anybody else who's listening to this, because I want to put these replies to up publicly, just so that people know that not everybody disapproves of what you're doing. Some people do appreciate what you're doing, because it's interesting. Apart from anything else, we don't have to necessarily agree with you entirely. There's some things I don't agree with, and I'm prepared to discuss it with you, to try, because I think you deserve to know my arguments against some of the things you and I don't agree on. You know what I mean? But can respect one another, and I think I get the impression you respect my position and I respect yours. So I must admit, I was a bit shocked when I saw the kind of response you got from this science forum thing. I felt quite bad. I felt kind of guilty for not kind of standing up and just speaking up for you a little bit. You know what I mean? Because you're only trying, aren't you, to find answers to things that we all want to know. And if Professor Jim Al-Khalili wants to know answers too, what's wrong with questioning things? But I've noticed that these people who, supposedly, these people you would think were quite respectable, honourable, decent people, who would say, well, you'd think they would have a kind of a better bedside manner. I don't know what the proper expression is. You think that I'm not saying they should be kind. If they disagree, they've got to disagree. But there are ways of saying that you disagree. To just come out and start using that old fucking cliche about what is it, crackpots, or what's the other one similar to crackpot? Just as soon as anybody utters those kind of words, you blush, you know what I mean? I find it quite disgusting, really. It's kind of cheap, that's it, it's a cheap, I think you call it ad hominem, I can't say that word, phrase. It's just cheap, low, it's like a low punch, you know what I mean? Okay, the internet's full of it, isn't it? And I confess that, I may have been guilty at some point, being a bit of an arsehole, and I've apologised for that, to anybody out there I've criticised, you know what I mean, in the past, because we do get, when we're on the internet, we do get a little bit uppity, don't we? And you stupid person. Then after, if we've got anything about ourselves, we do come back and say sorry, I was a bit out of order there, I just, because at the end of the day, we're all the fucking same, aren't we? Really. We're all a bunch of knobheads, really. We're all a bit mad, aren't we? And I think in a reply some time ago, you referred to me something about as being a bit mad, and then you kind of apologised as if I'd be offended. But well, I'm not going to be offended, because I know I'm a bit mad. You have to be a bit mad. What kind of a person on New Year's Eve? No, New Year's Day, it's 20 to 1, New Year's Day, 1st of January 2019. What sort of person is sat there talking to himself on a webcam, surrounded by all this, what most people would call junk? Most people are out there on the tiles having a bevy. Yeah, getting a few Christmas kisses. I'm not getting any fucking Christmas kisses. Come at me. Go on. Man with no teeth seeks woman. What are the chances? Anyway, sorry, I'm being stupid now anyway. But at least I'm laughing. I'm not crying. See you later, alligator. I'm looking for the off button, that's why I'm staying over there.